They say it's always darkest before the dawn, and in the world of motorsports, those words ring especially true. As is tradition, Daytona greets us as we emerge from our winter hibernation. But this year, we awaken 30 years in the past. This time we celebrate a bygone era as drivers take to the unrefined beasts that are the Audi Quattro and the Nissan GTP. A new season is about to dawn, the darkness about to fade. The 2018 Classic Daytona 2.4, an endurance race from the ages, for the ages, coming to you live. iRacing Live on February 4th, 2018.
Hello everybody and welcome to some more Rallycross action here tonight with CPR Kart and Sim Parts Rallycross here on Verts Online on usual Thursday night time slot. So we're back at Daytona Long for this round of the championship, one of the tracks that's probably had the most laps done in Rallycross, I would safely say, being the one that started it all in week 13. So a lot of laps have been done around this circuit by the drivers, but it should still produce a awesome night of racing. I think we were one of the early rounds here for this series of Daytona Long. It was an awesome night of racing. We had a great time there, and I'm sure we'll follow it up with another awesome round here tonight. So Thomas Hensey leading me through tonight's action. Alongside me in comms and doing the magic with the cameras is Mr. Jay Candy. Hello, Jay.
G'day Thomas, hello everybody. Yeah, good night ahead of us here tonight. A little bit of a smaller field, but I think that usually means that the action is a little bit hotter because the field's a little bit more condensed. The talent's all here and they're all wanting to put on a show. With a smaller field, they'll be thinking that they have a better chance of making it all the way through to the end. So we should have a fantastic night of racing. Not too long before we'll have pictures through from our randomly selected server, which we decided on before qualifying had finished, but I think we've got 22 odd drivers tonight, so we'll end up with 3 splits for the first round, and then we'll have 3, 2, then we'll get down to 1 main event before the end of the night, which should be an action-packed night of racing. Come down to the final corner last week at Phoenix. Hopefully tonight we'll see something pretty close to that.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, it should be, as you say, I think the less numbers are just going to mean the quality will be even higher of racing. Tends to be how it goes when that sort of thing happens in nearly any category, really. And yeah, I'm looking forward to what should be a cracking night of racing. And looks like our randomly selected split's going to be a mean-tastic one for sure. We've got Reese in there. I think Hobbo's in there as well. One of our V8 Online, two of our V8 Online brethren, Reese and Corey Ott also in there, I believe, as well. So bit of a fun first heat here. Get some good action with some great drivers, and we already know though who's going to be 6th place, so that's sorted. Good to know, so we don't have to worry about that. But yeah, it should be a great first heat, and hopefully produce sort of set the tone, I suppose, for the rest of the night. As we've seen, Daytona can produce some awesome racing in the Rallycross format, especially with that Joker lap where it sort of spits you out right at the entrance to chicane onto the dirt again. So it's always a very interesting transition there, because it can produce some big moments as we've seen already. But yeah, it'll be a hard one to pick really, because everyone here is a lot of the drivers here are really, they're not slouches in Rallycross.
Not slouches in any car, so Rallycross cars definitely a strength for a lot of the guys in this field tonight. So it's going to be a really interesting night of racing. As you said though, very, very good heat with who we've ended up picking. Almost looked like we decided to go this one when we saw the names, but we didn't know who was in what heat until we got in.
We swear.
As you said, Hobson in here, Larnack in here, which would be good to see those two fight it out. Reese Gardner in here. It'd be awesome to have a look at their new liveries with their new signing of sponsors this week, or late last week, with Amazon Web Services jumping on board. What a big pickup for those guys, so well done to them for that. And a few other guys that we've seen do pretty well in this series as well. Richard Brookfield, one that sort of just continually finds his way to finish in the mid-pack and progress through every round. He made it into the final LCQ last week, so hopefully we can see him put in another good show this week too.
Yeah, I mean, and seeing him, he also races I've seen in the ROTV broadcast league, I believe it's on Tuesday nights as well, and he usually does pretty well there as well. He's usually hovering, into just about making the final most rounds. So he certainly seems like he knows what he's doing with Rallycross. He's maybe not quite up there with the likes of Larnack and those kind of guys in terms of raw pace, but he seems to be pretty clean and consistent with Rallycross. I've noticed he seems to be one of the guys who does well at just keeping his nose clean and being there at the right place at the right time to continue advancing throughout the night. So yeah, I'll be watching him to see if he can continue that trend. He's certainly one that's just been quietly doing his thing. We're on all watch with interest here tonight to see his progress, but it certainly is quite a nice first heat here, a really nice field we've got, and should be some cracking race. And I am actually keen to once it loads, which hopefully should be done, unless he might be running that King's livery for this one, Reese, because he has been the one who's been running throughout Rallycross. But hopefully we can see that the new liveries they have in action, because they do look very nice, I have to say. It's good to see a bit of a difference to the scheme, being yellow and white, I believe it is the sort of general scheme they've got going for their new sponsorship deals. So it's good to see that sort of catch the eye in the field, not in a too overt way, but just in a nice sort of understated way.
Actually, you can see Warren Pickering has that livery on his car, so you can actually pick it up there with a cool look. Also a recent signing to the Fusion Sim Racing guys, so big well done to those guys. I think that's sort of thrown the gauntlet down for a lot of the other teams. They've gone a bit wow. Big pick up for those guys. It'd be interesting to see what the other teams can pick up, and heard some big rumoured names. There are potential sponsors that we might see come on board throughout the stops. 2018, but we've got about 2 minutes to go left in this practice or warm-up session. Scott Larnack currently out in front, but there's nothing separating he and Hobson right now. We've got less than 200ths of a second separating the first two drivers at the moment, so absolutely nothing in it at all.
Yeah, indeed, and Larnack in the Beetle for this one. He does seem to like changing of those. Usually goes the Focus, but I have been noticing him jumping the Beetle every now and then a bit more lately. Obviously, just trying to.
Last week he changed every race.
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah, he was in the Focus, then the Beetle, then the Focus, and the Beetle. So obviously just wanting to mix things up and have a bit of fun, which is good to see. And good to see he's still got that, just that exceptional pace, no matter what the car is. Because obviously the Beetle and the Focus, obviously designed to, be pretty similar on pace and be able to pump out similar lap times.
Just going to have to correct you again though, because it is still a Fiesta, as it has been every week. But I think every week that you say a Focus, and I just let you go a couple of times, and then jump in and say it's a Fiesta.
Good spot, thank you, Jay. It is every week. I don't know what it is, but just in my mind.
Can't help it, can you?
No, I think it's because I'm used to back in the shows how current I am with things. Back in the early mid-2000s, back when the Focus was, you know, the prime time rally car. That's, for some reason, my mind hasn't got past that yet, you know, 10 years later. So it still thinks it's always the Focus, not the Fiesta. So every time it gets me. But yeah, the Fiesta and the Beetle, they're a very similar car and obviously designed to do similar pace, but they do use different setups. You can't use setups between each car. They are different in how they set up each of them. But it's good to see that Larnack can continue that awesome pace no matter what the car is. And Wayne C. Burke now pops up on the pole. It's looking really good, isn't it? That top three, Burke, Larnack and Hobson, they're all, obviously we've seen them in pretty much anything they race. They're always up there and in amongst the top guys. And it looks like they could produce a really cracking battle in the top three for this first heat.
It should be an interesting heat that we've got. Of course, every single driver that qualifies, they do get at least 2 races for the night. So the top 4 or 5 will go through into the main draw, and the rest of the field will drop back into LCQs. Then we'll drop a few off after the next round of races. Then we'll be left with 2 fields, which then will be separated into a main auto qualifiers, and then we'll have an LCQ for everyone else. So everyone guaranteed at least 2 races. If they get through the first 2, they'll end up having at least 4, possibly 5 if they make it all the way through to the end, including the LCQ.
Yeah, very good, which is a, you know, good way to go. It's good to see that we'll manage to get a nice solid night of racing out this, even if the numbers are not quite as high as we'd hope. We're still going to get a good night of racing out and give everyone a chance to have a good run tonight and not be kicked out too early and be left wanting basically after, you know, turning up and qualifying and then being done after one race. So good to see. But yeah, really looking forward to this first race. It's going to be a real juicy one. And even in the midfield, I mean, you've got a great battle for the top 3, and it looks like the battle basically from 4th all the way down to about 6th or 7th is going to be really, really close as well. Only a few tenths separating them in practice. So really, really good stuff. So the grid for this first heat of the night is going to be Warren Pickering. It's going to start on pole from Brendan Hobson. There's Scott Larnack in 3rd. Reece Gardner is in 4th. And it's Wayne C. Burke in 5th. Corey Ott in 6th. Richard Brockfield in 7th. And then Michael Crooks rounds out your 8-car field for this first heat of tonight for Cup Price Rallycross. Cup Price Racing Kart and Sim Pass Rallycross, which has been, as we've said, we've seen some awesome racing so far in the rounds at all the various circuits we've visited so far. I think we've pretty much visited every one available on the service at the moment. And they've all produced some great racing. It's good to be back at Daytona. Been a while. Obviously been at Phoenix and other circuits, but we're ready to get going here in the first heat of racing for the night. Who's going to take the initial sort of bragging rights and steer clear of the LCQ? We're about to find out. Lights are on, and they are away for the first heat of the night. And see, you've got a good jump at the start. Oh, look at that. Larnack's got an absolutely beautiful jump to the lead.
Oh, Pickering.
Hobson. Oh, yeah, Hobson and Pickering have come together, and there's a bit of carnage further back. I think Corey Ott was caught out by that as well. And they've gone off straight off the circuit, and they're well down the back now of the field. But Hobson now leads from Larnack out of all that. Reece Gardner, a big benefactor, he's in 3rd. Also, see Richard Brockfield going around the chicane in the background as well. But it's going to be Reece Gardner in now 3rd from that. Probably one of the big winners after all that one. Corey Ott does stay in 4th, and now Wayne C. Burke down to 6th. Michael Crocs is 7th, and rounding out field for the moment is Richard Brockfield and Warren Pickering at the very back after that first corner shenanigans. So a pretty action-packed start already. We've only done not even a lap yet.
Yeah, we're about to come up and see who takes the Joker. We've seen already in this series that guys that are out in front will probably take their Jokers early and get some fresh air. Guys that are back in the field might have to mix it up a little bit, as we just see Corey Ott break the trend and closes a little bit of a gap up to Reece Gardner. He does clear a bit more of a gap to Wayne Burke, who has not taken his Joker. The bottom 4 cars not taking their Jokers on the first lap. Oh, it's a big crash. Reece Gardner, yeah. Corey Ott, our Verts and Line Brethren, both come together.
No. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, and I'm just caught up on that too. Richard Brockfield had gone off the chicane in the background as well, by the way. But yeah, looks like Reece just gone too deep. He's gone off the jump and landed, looked like he landed okay, but just gone in really hard into the double right hand. He hit the tie barrier, and once you hit them, it's always very hard to recover. And then Corey Ott's just come flying in with nowhere to go, and they both come together. So big instant there between our two V8s Online brethren. Bit of inner organisation rivalry coming to a head already, and we haven't even got one race done yet. But either way, what that does now do is now Wayne C. Burke is up in 3rd now, recovering after being involved in those first lap shenanigans. Reece Gardner still holds on in P4 as well, struggling through the double right-hander there as well. Michael Crooks now is in P5. Drops to 6th. Warren Pickering is in 7th. Richard Brockfield is now down the back with a very damaged Fiesta. We were saying about him staying out of trouble, but at the moment it's been anything but in this first heat. Been a really, really difficult one for him to start his night racing.
Interesting that Larnack is about a second behind Hobson, still has one Joker lap to take. Joker lap here around about a second to a second and a half. So Larnack, who just absolutely messed up the jump there, ran very, very wide, just holds on. This could be very close with 1.4 now separating these guys.
Oh, Burke's gone.
Wayne Burke's dropping through the field.
Yeah, he's gone at the chicane. He just, oh wow, just chucked it in. And the car's just gone around on him. I don't know if he's got steering damage there. It looks like he maybe has steering damage, because that's a very, very odd spin. He's just chucked it in like you normally do in there, and the thing just went, nope, sorry, I'm out, and just speed him into the wall. So, yeah, that's a really weird one. But either way, that puts him down with Warren Pickering now as they're battling at the very back. Oh, nearly contact there between the two. They're now battling over literally who doesn't finish last right now. They're both battling over 7th spot, but they should be quicker than Michael Crooks. So this could get interesting between those guys. Corio's not far through it either as Pickering takes his Joker and is going to now jump Wayne Burke, really drifting it through the hairpin. And again, look at it really kicking out.
It's struggling, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's got pretty heavy steering damage because that should be. Oh, and look at that. Man, that's a not happy looking Fiesta right there.
He's probably got that from that incident with Ott and Gardner, because he come through with nowhere to go and made side to side contact with Ott. So I'd be guessing that that's where Wayne Burke's got that damage, and he's just going to have to limp it home, and he'll fight on in the next one in the LCQ. We jump back to first and second place. Not much separating them, but Larnack has pulled a little bit of a gap over... I mean, Hobson has pulled a bit of a gap over Larnack.
Yeah, for sure. Larnack's just been dropping back slowly to Hobson. Hobbo's pace is just a little bit quicker in the last couple of laps. Larnack's got a quicker, fastest lap on lap 3, but Hobson's consistency has just been a little bit stronger the last 2 laps, and it's been consistently quicker than Scott on raw pace. At the moment, Hobson's looking good to hold on. We'll see what this pace is on this lap. There's another 41.3, so awesome consistency from Hobbo so far. Larnack with a 41.5, so loses another couple of tenths. So he's doing everything he can here, Larnack, but just doesn't quite have the pace at the moment to challenge for the lead. Reece Gardner now back in third, currently holding on to that position. But he does have Corey Hawk coming at him again, so the VFS online battle may heat up once more before we're done with this race. And behind them was a recovering Warren Pickering, so he's also closing in. And you got Michael Crooks in 6th. Wayne Burke is trying to limp around, but again he spins the chicane.
Oh, it's the third time in 3 laps.
Yeah, I think
he's done.
Yeah.
Interesting. Michael Crooks is one to watch here. He's about 2.5 seconds behind Pickering now, but he hasn't taken any of his Jokers as Hobson now crosses the line to start lap 8. So we're going to watch Crooks, whether he can jump Pickering with the Joker lap advantage, and saying that he's made a bit of a mistake. He's dropped about 3 seconds now off the pace. He'll have to take his Jokers on these next 2 laps to try and close that gap up. But it was looking like he might have been close enough to maybe jump Pickering a couple of laps ago. Don't think he will be able to now, though. Still got Larnack to take 1 and Crooks to take 1. Brookfield back in the field has not taken any of his Jokers yet, but he's going to struggle to catch anybody at this stage. But Hobson still leads. Larnack still pushes on, 2 to go. So Larnack will probably take the Joker on the very last lap, get that little bit of an advantage from the position of the finish line. So this will be an interesting finish, about 2.3 seconds. But Larnack is really pushing hard at the moment.
Yeah, he really wants to try and get that win in this first heat. Obviously, at the moment, it doesn't really matter where they finish between the two of them, because they're both going to steer clear of the LCQ. So at the moment, it's not too much of a concern, but obviously you want to win the races you're in. There's always the racing mindset, so I'm sure Larnack will do everything he can here to try and get that position. I think you're right. I think he'll save it. Let's have a look. He should save it, and he will, just so he can get that run out of there. If he can just be close enough, he can get the run and really shoot to the finish line and possibly jump Hobbo. But I think Hobbo may just be doing enough, and yeah, look at that Hobbo. Wow, pumping out a 41.1 on that last
lap of the race.
Yeah, fast up the race and 4 tenths fast than Larnack, more importantly. So looking good at the moment. I don't think Larnack's quite close enough. 2.7 seconds is probably just outside the range to jump him in the Joker, but we'll soon see. Further back, things are spread out quite heavily as well. Looks like Reece Gardner is pretty secure in P3 as long as he can keep it clean on this last lap. Corey Ott 4th. Warren Pickering Seem to have the pace, but just been having trouble with consistency, it would seem, with over this race and sitting in 5th at the moment. But looking at the front, looks like it's going to be Brendan Hobson should take this, and he will indeed. So there you go. Brendan Hobson does take the win in this first heat from Scott Larnack. Very, very good race from those two, managing to stay clear of the first corner shenanigans and have a solid run up front. Reece Gardner should be pretty happy with that. Boyd's the LCQ, is going to take P3 in this first heat for him. Not probably went exactly as he wanted it to, but still going to be good enough to take third, which is a great result for him, and steer clear once again in the LCQ. So good start to the night for him. Corey Ott is going to come home in 4th, a bit of a topsy-turvy one for him, but in the end he again still avoids the LCQ, which is all that really matters at the moment. Warren Pickering is P5, difficult first heats for him. He'll be definitely looking to improve that as the night of racing wears on. He's P6. A penalty. There you go. So Warren gets a post-race penalty. I'm guessing he cut the track somewhere, and that now means Michael Crooks is going to come home P5. So good stuff there. And then Warren Pickering is now going to be 6th after all that. So start at pole and 6th place in this heat. A really difficult start to Warren's night. He'll definitely be looking to improve that in the heats to come. Richard Brockfield, a lap down in P7. A difficult start to the night for him as well. He'll be, I'm sure, improving that in the following heats. And then Wayne Seaburke retiring about halfway through after some damage earlier on. So he's going to be in the LCQ trying to keep his night alive. So there you go, a really interesting first heat, I think. There's some good battling, some shenanigans as well, some inter-organisation bumping to go with it. But no, very much enjoyed that, Joe.
Yeah, it was good fun, that race. Just trying to see if we can get a cut cross racing replay of the restart, and it was Hobson and Larnack coming together, but just behind Burke also got involved and then had to take to the grass. So I'm wondering if that was where the issue happened for Burke, as well as just seeing there was another bit of contact as well with a maybe Corey Ott as well. So
yeah, I'm looking at the start here as well. Looks like he almost got sandwiched, really. They've come together in front of him, and then he's gone to the back of Pickering, and then Reece Gardner's behind him and not had time to really react and put him in the air, actually. Reveals, just got straight in the air, turned it around. Yeah, pretty big contact. Externally, it doesn't look too bad. I'm wondering whether that was enough to bend. It doesn't look like. So it looks like the first corner incident, despite looking spectacular, wasn't actually the cause of his damage. So yeah, I'm trying to find now as well what actually caused it, because it'd be interesting to know what the issue was. Unless the only thing I can think of is maybe he hit a barrier as well, because I know they can be pretty deadly. If you hit one of those side barriers, they can stuff up the steering pretty bad if you do them in a wrong angle. So I'm thinking maybe that's what it was, because it looks to me, I'm looking through here and it, okay, maybe it was, because he doesn't seem to hit anything until he started spinning after that first lap incident.
Well, it was either that or the incident with Reece Gardner, Corey Ott, where he come through and then made, it was fairly nose to tail contact, but I tell you what, that start from Hobson after that contact, he did a very good job to maintain control there too. So well done to Hobby. He worked hard to get that win. That start was very, very strong from him, and he'll be a tough one to beat tonight. And he and his teammate Glenn Postlethwaite, Posy, fastest this week in all the qualifying sessions. So we'll see how Posy goes this week, as we might take a very quick break and get ready for round number 2 of heats. This is the CPR Kart and SimPass Rallycross Series here on V8's Online. Big weekend ahead of us. Broadcasting here on V8's Online. Here we will have the big one, the Daytona 24, this Sunday here on V8's Online.
They say it's always darkest before the dawn, and in the world of motorsports, those words ring especially true. As is tradition, Daytona greets us as we emerge from our winter hibernation. But this year, we awaken 30 years in the past. This time we celebrate a bygone era as drivers take to the unrefined beasts that are the Audi Quattro and the Nissan GTP. A new season is about to dawn, the darkness about to fade. The 2018 Classic Daytona 2.4, an endurance race from the ages, for the ages, coming to you live. iRacing Live on February 4th, 2018.
Welcome back to CPR Rallycross here on V8 Online. We're getting ready for the second round of heats tonight here at Daytona Long. It was an awesome start to the night. We had a great fun in that first heat, had some great battling, had some shenanigans at turn one. Not going to be Rallycross without some turn one shenanigans and seeing cars being lifted into the air, as we saw in Wayne Burke's case. But yeah, some great battling throughout the field and some incidents as well and some drama between two V8 Online members. So it's looking good to be a really exciting night of racing as we build to the final, Jay.
Yeah, it's going to be a good night of racing. Hello again, everybody. We've talking about the two V8 Online drivers getting into trouble. They've both ended up in the same session again. So we're just so everyone knows, we randomly pick numbers well before the night starts, and tonight we've gone 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 the whole way through the night. So for the rest of the night we're in server number 1, but we've ended up with a pretty good field. We've got last week's winner Bob King in here, Scott Larnack, who we saw have very good pace, Matt Hartley, who won the first round of heats that he was in as well. So a very strong field in this one. We've got 7 cars in this one. We've got 7 cars in heat number 2, and then we've got 6 cars off in LCQ. I believe is with 14 cars for the next round, as we start to close everyone down a little bit. And I'll tell you what as well, the LCQ field is quite stacked. We've got 2 drivers who'll make it through out of this list. We've got Crooks, who we saw in that one there, Michael Crooks. We've got Warren Pickering, who we saw in that one there. We've got Wayne C. Burke, who we saw in that split. We've got Bo Albert and Lachlan Smith. Those guys both made the final last week.
Yeah.
And we've got Richard Brookfield, who made the LCQ last week. So a very stacked field in the LCQ for tonight's racing. So looking forward to seeing how that plays out. We've got about 5 minutes left in this warm-up session. And start to get some proper racing happening out on track. And should be a good heat. We've got 7 cars. We've got 6 cars in here at the moment. Glenn Postlethwaite also will be in this heat. And no, who am I missing? Emily Jones.
I think Emily Jones.
Yeah,
Yes,
Emily Jones is the one who
Yeah.
hasn't joined yet, and we know the pace that Emily's got in these cars. So yeah, good to see her mixing it amongst these guys in this session. So we get ready for the second round of heats to get underway in only a couple of minutes' time.
Yeah, I think the ones will be at the front will be Bob King, Larnack, and probably Emily Jones will be 3 battling in front of the field. And obviously Bob King coming off winning last week's CPR Rallycross at Phoenix, so obviously confidence will be quite high after that round. So looking to follow on and maybe go the double, Bob will be. So got a pretty tough competition here for this one though. So we'll see how he goes. And we know, as we know with Rallycross, anything can happen. So you could get into turn 1 and get pile driven into the wall, and that could be it. So you never know with Rallycross. So never a safe deal, no matter how quick you are in these cars. The circumstances of having issues happen is just ever greater, thanks to the way that it all works in this form of racing. But should be a great second heat, and looking forward to showing it to you guys. But while we're waiting for this to kick off, I suppose we might as well have a little cheeky look at what's coming up on V8 Online while we wait for this practice session to wind down. Obviously Saturday, or this weekend as we were mentioning, and even pretty much all the way through to Tuesday. We're broadcasting from Saturday this week all the way through to Tuesday every single day. So broadcasting.
I can have Wednesday off, thankfully. I can have one day off.
Yes, yeah. You get Wednesday off. So you get an 8 day, and tomorrow. So there you go.
Thanks.
2 days off for the week, Jay. we demand premium service constantly, Jay. Unfortunately, this is racing world. It's a thankless job, but we do love what we do, as I'm sure Jay can testify. But Saturday night we have BES, good old blank paint, some. Or as I like to call it, just because I think it sounds cool, Plonk Pain. I just like the name of it, Plonk Pain Endurance Championships, what I call it. But that's on the Saturday night for the last round of the Pro Qualifiers, so expect it to be really hard for it. Obviously, all the drivers will be wanting those spots to get into the Pro Qualifiers, and they'll be fighting every little bit to make sure that they get into them and being the last round. It is at the Nürburgring, which always does go very well in GT3s. And is the endurance layout as well, the GT layout, so it's got the faster final chicane, which I think is a bit better than the other chicane in my personal opinion. But going to make some great racing there for the final round of that series, so we're very keen for that. And then the very next day in the morning, we have our stints for the Daytona 24 in the Commerce booth, and I think a lot of us actually had some line of racing it too, so a few of us are probably going to be doing the double, racing it as well as comsing on it as well.
Good lads.
Yeah, commitment. We are not, if anything, committed here at Pairs Online to commentary and racing as well. So it should be a cracking race, that one. Obviously, all the hype building for that, and being the Daytona 24, it should be an absolute cracker. So we're very, very keen for that one. And then on Monday, of course, we have the V8's official series this week from Montreal. Sorry, not Montreal. I just
Imola.
That was the last week. Imola. There we go. Got it. Thank you, Jay. At Imola, which you wouldn't think would work as a V8 track, but it actually works really well. The V8s are a lot of fun around Imola, and it produces some cracking racing in those cars. So that should be an absolutely fantastic event. So very keen for that one on Monday. Continuing your fix of V8s on Monday nights, and then Tuesday we have Tristo's midget shootout at Lanyon National Speedway. Definitely tune in for that one, because that's again for an awesome cause, and I mean, midget racing is always just crazy bonkers and great fun. So certainly tune in Tuesday night for that as well. Then Jay gets his well-deserved break until we're back here again for more Rallycross next Thursday.
Yeah, and pretty much this weekend is the start of us live 42 out of 45 weekends. So we're live pretty much every weekend from now right through until December. Not many weekends off. With the Daytona 24 this weekend, we've got the OEC next weekend. Weekend after that is the start of the Majors series. The weekend after that, Bathurst 12 Hour is on. The iRacing Bathurst 12 Hour is on. And then the weekend after that, we've got double duty with the final round of OEC and the Majors Daytona 24. We're live for 17 hours on that one day. So that's going to be an absolutely full-on day. And then we can have a tiny little breather before we get into V8 Scops the weekend after. So it is full-on, I think. Other than the Bathurst 12-hour weekend, broadcast weekend, we have one weekend off for the Aussie Formula 1 Grand Prix. And then we get another weekend off in June.
That's it. It's a full year. No rest, just full attack from us here at Fates Online for the whole year. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. I'm sure we'll have an absolute blast. It's been great so far. We're not even a month into the year, and we've seen some just absolutely fantastic racing in all the various forms that we cover, being dirt oval, rallycross, and obviously roads as well, with the BES and the V8s of course as well, and just all the stuff we cover at V8s Online. It's been cracking racing, but unfortunately I think Emily might be out here. It looks like she's while we were doing that during the practice there, she connected and then actually disconnected from the server, and she hasn't rejoined again. So we may be without Emily Jones here for this heat, which is a real shame, but hopefully she can sort out a connection issue and be back in the LCQ and continue her night of racing. But either way, that means we have a 6-car field for this second heat. The lights are coming already, so as Emily just joins as it's starting, so a little bit too late unfortunately, but either way, we're about to get ready to go here for the second heat of racing tonight here at Daytona, and we are away. It looks like Matt Hartley and Bob King on the front row with a good start, and Matt on the inside 3 wide into turn 1, or nearly sticks all this contact, yeah. And both Beatles going wide, and look at this, Matt Hartley up the inside's gone, thank you very much, or yoink that one. Tries to go side by side with Bob, but has to let off as Bob just closes the nose on him there. So it's going to be Bob King leading the way in this first lap. Matt Hartley brings it in second, and Reese Gardner leading the Fiesta charge at the moment, with Thomas McMillan in fourth. Oh, contact.
Larnack around.
Yeah, it's contact with him, Otts and McMillan, and Larnack is now around. They're going to be at the back as he tries to turn around. I think he might just be, he's trying to get, no, he's weaving the wheel in frustration after all that. And I think he might, well, be just calling it. He is, there he goes. So already, Larnack is out. One of our big hitters in Rallycross is always generally making it to the finals, even challenging for wins in the finals, and he's gone already. Wow, big start here, and a big casualty already in this one, Joe.
Yeah, it's amazing to think that Larnack and Jones are pretty much out of the heat here. Jones due to issues, and Larnack out. Probably was a little bit too hot, got a little bit of contact with McMillan ahead, and that unsettled the car. And then Ott didn't really have anywhere else to go but into the rear wheel of Larnack, and that probably gave him a bit of damage. But have a look at the battle now for seconds. Bob King's done his first joker and blitzing away. Gardner and McMillan actually having issues with his throttle pedal as well. So about 60% throttle is 100% throttle for him. So it's going to take a little bit of getting used to the calibration of that. And he runs very wide and probably will get a penalty for that. Crossing the blend line. Not allowed in this in the joker laps to cross the blend line. Oh, Gardner.
Man.
Very, very squarely over the jump.
Oh, and Emily disconnects again from a lack of connection. So that's a real big concern for us. Oh, McMillan's so close to the tyre barrier. But yeah, I hope for Emily's sake she can sort whatever the issue is there, because that's a real shame if a technical issue does end her night of racing prematurely. It's always a shame whenever that does play into it. Obviously an unfortunate side effect of sim racing. Sometimes we can't do much about it when the connection just doesn't want to play ball, but hopefully she gets that fixed. McMillan taking the joke lap this time by should put him out. I was going to say near Matt Hartley, but Matt also takes his joker lap, and he's going to steer clear of him in second spot. Bob King leads the way, and a nice easy race for him so far for SSR. Matt Hartley second. McMillan now is third, having taken his joker. Jumps Reece Gardner well, not really effectively, as obviously Reece gets to do his jokers, but it does mean we get a juicy battle for third. Both of them so close to tyre barrier again. I swear McMillan eventually is going to hit that. He just keeps inching closer and closer to that tyre barrier, but holding off the third for now. Corey Ott just holding off the back of these guys in P5, not quite able to catch them at the moment, more or less matching the pace of them. But if these two start scuffling heavily, then Corey Ott's there to pounce as well.
Gardner's going to take the joker this time and come back by on McMillan, and we're fairly sure too, as we said, McMillan will likely have a black flag, so a penalty, which will be time penalty applied at the end of the race. So McMillan's got to battle against the clock to pull away from Ott here. Ott's about 3 seconds behind, so really battling the clock is McMillan, and now getting stuck behind Gardner, who has a little bit of a moment. Oh geez, how did he not hit the tyre bundle there?
Every time they're just getting so close, aren't they? They're not leaving an inch on the outside. I mean, as we've seen, and as anyone who's raced around here in these cars knows, you hit that almost knife of a tyre barrier and you just get absolutely wrecked. So pretty much your car gets destroyed without question. So it's always such a risk getting that close, but these guys are not leaving anything out on the table at the moment. They're using every single millimetre of track as Gardner tries to hold on to third spot. As we said, we're fairly sure McMillan should have a time penalty. I would say it did definitely look like he pretty clearly crossed the blend line, and usually they're pretty on point with iRacing's cut system for pinging you for that if you do cross the blend line. So I reckon he is going to probably drop to 5th effectively, but we will see. He may have got away with it. You never know. Sometimes it does surprise you and let you get away with those kind of things. But at the moment, he's right there, right behind Reece Gardner. It looks like that faulty pedal not slowing him down too much. His pace is pretty solid at the moment. It's not quite up there with the likes of Bob King, but he's not lapping that much slower than Matt Hartley. He wasn't really getting away ahead of them. Oh yeah, look at this. Oh, McMillan.
Both had big moments there. Both drifted. McMillan got on the e-brake because I think he thought he was going to run into the rear of Gardner, who missed the braking point by a mile. I think they both looked at the same braking point and realised it was way too deep. Somehow they both managed to get through. I don't know how. But wow, Gardner holding on for Gardner's holding on for third. McMillan's around.
Oh, hello. He's going to hold it. Initial D. Oh, nearly. Doesn't quite. And that's the problem when you get those kind of drifts like that on the asphalt when they're that severe. The car will not turn around. But look at this. He's got the run though off the tarmac, and now he's right behind Corey Ott. So the battle commences with another Fiesta, and this one a blue and black one rather than a red and white one. As McMillan nearly looking up the inside into the hairpin. Really squirrely in that Beetle. I mean, obviously the pedal calibration issues are certainly not helping in his cause to try and gain some spots here, but it does mean Corey Ott now up into P4, and I would say that should be official, but not when he does that. Oh, into the tyre barrier. Ott, big slide. Oh my goodness me, over the jump. I'll try and see what happened there. I think he just landed awkwardly there. Yeah, it's sort of twisted on him. He's jumped.
Oh, McMillan's around again.
Oh, McMillan's around again. Yeah, it looks like, over the jump, it just kind of twisted to the right-hand side. He's steered it left to try and get a point of the corner. And the thing, obviously, when you land, it just grips on the landing and it's just speared him into the tyre barrier. So
McMillan actually hit that tyre bundle that we said. Surprised that they hadn't hit. He full-on cleaned it up. Blown engine. Here's race done. So McMillan with a big, massive crash. So now our battle is for second and third between Hartley and Gardner. It looks like at the moment Hartley's going to do enough to hold on for second. Bob King's absolutely checked out on this field. He's got a 7.5 second lead. But not too much of a gap between Hartley and Gardner. Last lap around Gardner was quicker, so this isn't over.
Yeah, Gardner's pace just seemed to be a bit stronger at the moment as this race has worn on. He last two laps actually 42.2 and a 42.3, so really solid pace in the last couple of laps. We'll see what this one is now as they come around the hairpin, heading around to cross the line for what is now the final lap. Hartley has a 44.4, Gardner a 44.3, so it is slightly faster, but it's still not quite probably enough. He has done both of his jokers, as has Hartley, but Hartley, a little bit of a tardy run there for the double right-hander. Might cost him a few tenths, but I think as long as he keeps it clean, he should have second spot sewn up. But still a really strong result from both these drivers. Obviously, Bob King in a lead zone at the moment. He obviously didn't win last week for by chance, not without a really good pace. And we know how strong he is in these things. And showing it once again here in Heat 2. Bob King is going to pretty convincingly dominate the second heat here. CPR Rallycross takes the win for SSR. Meanwhile, the battle for P2 will be Matt Hartley will take the win as Corey Ott trying to limp it around to get a finish in that heavily damaged Fiesta. But Matt Hartley does hold on to second. Strong result for him. Reese Gardner, really strong result again for him. Takes another third. So I believe it's 2 thirds in a row for him now. So at least he's been consistent so far in the results, and that should keep him, I would say, in the top heat once again for the next race. So we'll probably see him again in the next one here on the broadcast races, which is good to see. Good to see Reese having a strong run here tonight. P4, despite his, sort of maybe 3/4 maybe of a Fiesta. I wouldn't say it was the whole Fiesta with how damaged it was, but Corey limped it around to get a finish and still managed to come back P3 or P4. So still a result, and obviously being able to recover that from those kind of races is always the key. With Rallycross.
Good race, mate.
Thomas McMillan, obviously we saw him absolutely spear the tyre barrier out of the double right-hander and ends up retiring. So it would have been P5. And Scott Larnack, obviously,
cheers, Matt. Good race.
The incident on the first lap ends up retired in P6. And obviously Emily Jones, disconnection issues, meaning she did not take the start and will be in the LCQ and hopefully fix those connection issues so that she can make it through the last or the finals or the later races a little bit later on. But that was, certainly plenty of action in that one, I think, Jay.
Yeah, that was a full-on race. That one, a fairly small field. We only had 4 finishes, but it was very, very heated. And just shaping up for what's going to be a really interesting final couple of rounds of racing. So we will drop a few drivers from those heats. We'll try and get some results in the next minute or two before we go to a break. We'll see if we can work out who's still left. Because I think we should have 14 or 16 odd cars left after this third round. Brenton Hobson won the second heat with Luca Jacobin in second, and Wayne C. Burke has come home in first in the LCQ over Richard Brookfield, with Lachlan Smith, Michael Crooks, Bo Albert and Warren Pickering all done for the night.
Yeah, indeed. It's been interesting on that one. It was a pretty hectic heat, and as we saw, connection issues playing into it, and one of the big names again getting issues in the first lap in Scott Larnack. So I suspect once more we'll have a pretty chockers LCQ again as they try and stay alive and basically keep going tonight. But yeah, been an awesome racing so far in those first 2 heats. We saw it there. It was a cracking heat to follow the first one. And as we've seen always with Rallycross, and as it works with this and in Dirt Oval with the heat system, it always just gets better as the races go on. The field gets dwindled down more and more. Obviously, they're doing more laps, so they get more practice with the track as well. So I'm sure we'll continue to have some great racing in the next heat. Hope you guys are enjoying the show here on V8s Online. We'll take a short break now, and after that, we'll be back for the next round of heats here for CPR Rallycross at Daytona.
They say it's always darkest before the dawn, and in the world of motorsports, those words ring especially true. As is tradition, Daytona greets us as we emerge from our winter hibernation. But this year, we awaken 30 years in the past. This time we celebrate a bygone era as drivers take to the unrefined beasts that are the Audi Quattro and the Nissan GTP. A new season is about to dawn, the darkness about to fade. The 2018 Classic Daytona 2.4, an endurance race from the ages, for the ages, coming to you live. iRacing Live on February 4th, 2018.
Red Bull GRCs are now available on iRacing. I personally put my blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, developing the cars, the tracks, the dirt, making sure it is authentic as possible, and I really think you guys are going to love it. The best part is that this 600 horsepower Volkswagen Beetle is free to all members. So get signed up now and come race me online.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
Welcome back to V8's Online for CPR Rallycross here tonight at Daytona Long. We've had two heats, or had two rounds of heats, obviously with a bit of a smaller field. Things have been moving a bit quicker, and we are at the last chance qualifier now, the last one of the night. So the top two from this event will go through to the final, where we will see who is crowned the winner for tonight's round of racing of Rallycross. It's been a highly exciting, entertaining night so far. I've only obviously two races with a smaller field, but still I think they've very much produced their weight in gold and some. And yeah, I'm really, really keen for this last chance qualifier, and especially being obviously the top two to get through, Jay. That desperation is really going to be there now.
Yeah, we saw that hotly contested LCQ last week at Phoenix. It was a very, very intense race, and sort of come down to the last lap or two before we actually knew who would take the spot, or the two spots. And yeah, tonight, two spots up for grabs into the final, which are always 15-lap finals as well. Makes it very, very interesting. So we get towards the conclusion of the night. It's going to be a really hotly contested race. I can't wait for it to actually get underway.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, it's Daytona does tend to turn it on as well. It's a track that is a lot of fun in rallycross cars, and obviously the long version's a bit thinner too. The short one has a bit more space to move on the walls and on either side of the jump, and it's a bit more open with that layout. But this version's a bit tighter all around, walls on most sides of the track, and obviously where the tyre bundles are as well. So it does tend to sort of invite a little bit of shenanigans. But of course, just like last week as well, with the LCQ and obviously same with the final, there will be a qualifying in this as well. So we'll decide the grid in this session, not from past heats or the initial qualifying. So we've got about a minute to go in this practice or warm up before we go to the qualifying. Decide our grid for this race. Another 10-lap race once again. Two jokers as well. So unlike the official series and generally how it goes, it is two jokers we do here, not one. So that's why you've seen them do two runs, not just the one run in these races, if you've been wondering what's been going on there. But yeah, it should be a really interesting heat, this one, because it is a pretty chockers field. Wayne Seaburg, as we said, in there as well. So, I mean, it's going to be pretty tight, I reckon, between the likes of Wayne Seaburg and Larnack, and probably Stenberg as well will be up there. He's pretty handy in these cars as well. I'm not sure if Emily Jones is going to make it in. I'm guessing didn't look like she's making a lot of progress with internet issues, having disconnected twice from that last heat. So I'm not sure if she'll make it in, which would be a real shame. To see that happen, have connection issues wreck your night. It's always the worst way to go, but unfortunately one of the perks we have for sim racing. But yeah, it should be still a really, really interesting LCQ here, and I think the top three positions are going to be super hard for here again.
Yeah, for those that are watching that are actually wondering why they can't get into the session, this is the LCQ. If you can't get in, it means that you're probably already into the final, so don't stress too much. It means that you've done well tonight, and I'm talking to you, Reese. You're in the final, brother. Get excited, get keen. You're safe, have a breather. We've been waiting for you to make the final, so great to see Reese have a good night. So had a lot of bad luck. You're watching back on his videos, you see a lot of things happen that not really his fault that have caused his demise in this series. Some things unfortunately have happened.
Yeah, and as we said with Rallycross, the way it goes, you never know. You know, you can, as I said, you could be one of the quickest there, be super consistent and clean with just how you race. But then purely because of circumstance, because of Rallycross being such a bit more of a looser form of racing with the way it all works, it's still so easy to find yourself in that wrong situation at the wrong time. No matter what you do, you might do nothing wrong at all, and you still are in that spot where you get wrecked out by something that has nothing to do with you. So unfortunately, that's just sort of a perk of Rallycross, and unfortunately Reece has had that a bit throughout this season. But the final this time, buddy, we'll be certainly cheering for you here in the booth. No bias at all, not an ounce.
No,
obviously.
a little bit. That's okay.
Yeah, well,
As long as we announce it beforehand, I think it's okay to be a little bit biased.
Yeah, true.
So we've got seven cars in the field at the moment. Emily Jones is the 8th runner. If she does make it into the event, hopefully she can jump in and have a bit of a steer for the end of this night. And we'll obviously see McMillan and Larnack try and get a bit of redemption from that unsuccessful last race as well.
Sorry, he's commentating. So, viewing. I just saw Luke Jacob enjoying the session, but he's spectating as well. So,
he's safe.
I'm excited.
He's safe at the moment.
But,
Jacobin did finish second in the
very nice.
last heat with Cam Taylor and Glenn Postlethwaite, the top 4 in the other heat. So those 4 are safe, along with Bob King, Matt Hartley, Reece Gardner and Corey Ott. So they're the 8 that are already into the final. We dropped the bottom 3 from the first and second heat, which is McMillan, Larnack, Jones, Stenberg, Black and Kirk, as well as the top 2 in the LCQ, which was Wayne Burke and Brookfield. So that is the field as it is now, as Wayne Burke is currently on top of the timesheets. And Simon Black, who is in this heat, he told us just beforehand that he's got issues with his brake pedal. He feels like he may have actually broken the brake pedal during that last race. So we told him just to handbrake it the whole way around. She'll be right.
Do it in typical Aussie fashion.
She'll be right,
mate. Nothing to see here. Don't worry about it.
That's the only thing you can say in a situation like that. Is she'll be right, mate. Good to see a few names that we haven't seen in many of our broadcasts. Stenny being one, Kurt Stenberg, who's very, very good in these cars. And another one, Hayden Kirk, first time I've seen him out on track in our Rallycross series.
He'll be looking to keep his nose clean and try and make it through to that final. Obviously, pretty stacked field, as we mentioned, with the likes of Wayne Burke and Scott Larnack in the field, as Larnack, I think, is just going around to do his first laps very soon. Kurt Stenberg, I think, is just on his first lap as well, so we'll see what he can do. Wayne C. Burke, I think, has got 1 more run to go, so just leaving the pits to do that last run now. Trying to run out last run, I think, is getting really nice going there. We can just see Scott Simon is out there at the moment. Simon Black is out there going on. Looks like the brake is doing all right, but Larnack is into second. There you go. And look at that, McMillan actually only a few tenths off too. So the faulty pedal, McMillan's still got some pretty solid pace, has to be said.
A bit different though, throttle to a brake pedal, probably throttle in Rallycross. You're either open or you're not in a Rallycross car. You're not too much at 50 or 60% throttle. You're either flat or you're not. Simon Black jumps into 6th position, so his brake pedal will be causing him some issues because he is a lot quicker than that on rally cars. We've seen on Facebook. He's very, very quick at dirt rally, is Simon Black. So a discipline that he is very, very quick at is the rally cars. As Larnack crosses the line and goes quicker on his second lap, still got 1 more lap to go. If he can take the same amount of pace out in this lap, he might be right there with Burke, possibly even passing him. We'll see what Larnack can do this time around.
Yeah, indeed, as he comes into the double right-hander, the hairpin, puts the e-brake on there to get the run on the dirt to try and really straight line that exit, get as much speed as he can, heading up to the final corner of the lap. And looking like a pretty solid lap so far, but so he's needing to find a good chunk of time, good 2 tenths to jump Wayne Seaburke and take that pole position and be in that prime spot in this last chance qualifier. Comes out of the final corner now. Is it going to be an improvement? Comes across and not quite. 0.002, 2,000ths of a second off his quickest lap. That is super consistency. And yeah, look at his times. That all within basically not even half a tenth.
Yeah, nothing in it, is it?
Yeah. That's super consistency from Larnack. So very, very good signs for him. And he will be, obviously, probably want redemption as well. We saw him have the issue in that last heat, getting involved in the first lap. So certainly I think there'll be some bit of the red mist. I think for Scott, he'll be wanting some payback almost after that one to show what he can do and make it through to the final. He's certainly got the pace and looking good at the moment. But you look at the rest of them; they're not far off, are they? I mean, McMillan obviously only a few tenths off. Brookfield, we know he can. He's a bit of a specialist at being in that right place at the right time, and he's not too far off either. Stenberg as well, of course. Blackie still managed to get in a 42.2 despite his brake pedal playing him around. So Simon's still definitely still there, and obviously Ryan Kirk rounds out your field in 7th, but should be a really cracking last chance qualifier. This one looking like it's going to be hotly contested for that top 2. That's all that matters here. If you don't get the top 2, your night's over. So those 2 positions are the only 2 positions pretty much in this race effectively. But we're waiting on the last couple to line up, and we'll be good to go for the last chance qualifier before we head to the final after this for tonight's racing. A bit of a quicker night tonight with the bit of less numbers than we've had in past rounds, but I think the racing has certainly been no less exciting.
Probably been more exciting with a smaller field. It's you often see when you have a little bit smaller condensed fields that the racing is a little bit hotter and a little bit more full on. As we're just waiting for Larnack to jump out onto the grid, and he does jump on now. So here we go. We are getting ready to go. We'll see the lights come on. Green lights will come on, and then they will go for 10 laps. This is the last chance qualifier, the last chance for these guys to make it into tonight's main event. We are green, we are away, and a good jump from McMillan on the outside. Larnack as well with a pretty good jump. Burke's going to tuck back in the line behind Larnack. It looks like we got through turn 1 clean for the first time tonight.
Yeah, indeed. They're nearly side by side to the chicane there. That was Thomas McMillan, Wayne Burke going nearly side by side, but at the moment McMillan has got 3rd. It's going to be Stenberg in 4th. Simon Black is now up to 5th, and then 6th is Brockfield. 7th is Hayden Burke. But at the moment, it's looking like Scott Larnack's got the initial jump. Now what he needs to do is just pump out those laps, and he's looking good. So hold on that top spot.
McMillan around.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he is. Oh, yeah. The hairpin just straight around. I'll go back and have a look at what happened there. He's turned it in. So look. Oh, a bit of contact. Oh, Stenberg. Looks like just gave him a little bit of a tap right on the corner apex, and sent McMillan around. So big shame for him. McMillan is continued on. Damage shouldn't be too serious. A little bump on the rear, but that has lost him a lot of time, and it's going to be a really tall order of him now to get to the top 2.
Yeah, just got a CPR replay. Big thanks to CPR Kart Parts, Cut Price Racing, a rebrand for those guys, and new look logo. New look looks pretty cool actually, the new logo. So big thanks to the team at CPR Kart and Sim Parts.
Indeed, a big thanks to them for the support they've given us. So it's been very much appreciated, and obviously, the series, a bit of a thank you to them as well for that. And I think it's certainly turned on a great show as well, which is awesome to see in that regard too. But Richard Brookfield there just taking his Joker. I think he is. I was looking now. It is his first Joker, and he just came out behind Kurt Stenberg, so not quite able to jump Stenny there into 3rd, but
Stenny has taken 1 Joker. He did come up alongside Berkey and wasn't quite able to match him for pace. Larnack does his 2nd Joker as well. So Larnack's done 2. Burke is yet to do 1, gap 3 seconds. Now we said Joker around about 1 to 1.5 seconds. We're going to change it to about 7 tenths now. Looking at the pace that these guys have had, it's around about 7 tenths that they're gaining. So
it looks like Wayne taking his first Joker now, so we'll see how close he gets. There goes Larnack across the line. Yeah, you're right. It's probably going to end up being around 7 tenths. Yeah, 1.7 now is the gap. So probably
maybe 1.3 seconds quicker. I'm saying that lap was 1.8 seconds quicker, but you are a little bit quicker up to the finish line. You're on the brakes a little bit earlier in a different line. So it's probably going to be a little bit slower this lap than Larnack. Up now to 2.5 seconds. So they're probably around about 7 tenths. I think it's pretty much right. So we'll run with that for the rest of the night, 7 tenths. But at the moment, 1st and 2nd, they've got this sewn up at this stage. But these cars and the way this style of racing behaves, anything can happen. Is Burke very close to crossing the blend line? I don't think he crossed it, but he would have been very close to a potential penalty.
Yeah, very close, yeah.
Oh, and they're right on cue into the tyre bundle that had been flicked out from Larnack. Larnack just clipped the bundle, moved it out onto the racing line. Burke's into it, and now Stenberg and Brookfield can see Wayne Burke just ahead. They still have a Joker to play with here now too.
Here we go. Yeah, it's turned on. Just as we were saying, Rallycross can really throw in the wild card at a moment's notice. It has with Wayne Burke there, and that's so easy to do as well when the car ahead just moves that tyre bundle that little bit further.
Oh, big contact!
Whoa, big crash!
Oh, no!
Goodness.
That's both of their nights done too. They're both going to get penalties for crossing the blend line on the on the lap too. So that is going to pretty much seal first and second for now. But we'll get a CPR replay because that was a massive hit. Stenberg wasn't going for the Joker. Brookfield decided to at the last second, and Stenberg sort of unintentionally was in no man's land, and Brookfield slammed right into the rear. That was a pretty unfortunate accident, that one.
Yeah, I think it's kind of the way that Joker is, isn't it? You kind of do have to decide pretty early on. You either do it or you don't. Because if you do what happened there, where you sort of get in the middle of the road and you're kind of at the last second go, oh, maybe I'll do it now, that can happen because you have to brake obviously so much earlier than if you take the normal line. Obviously, Brookfield was not ready at all for where Stenberg was going to go. Probably misread which way he was going there, and then just gone straight into the back of him. That was a big incident, and huge, big contact with the wall as well for Brookfield there as he slid into the tyre barrier helplessly. And yeah, wow, massive incident. They're still battling on track though, as we can see. So there's no love lost between these two as they're both running around with, well, not really too bad to be fair. I mean, considering how heavily they had contact, they don't actually look that bad from what you would think they would with that kind of contact. But Brookfield now is leading that one, but it'll be an interesting one to watch there. What that has done is it's now relieved a lot of the pressure off Wayne Burke now. Is a lovely juicy gap now back to those two battling with P3. And what this has also done is brought in Hayden Kirk as well. He's only a few seconds back from that battle now, thanks to the incident between those two. So if they keep battling, and as Kurt Stenberg hits the tyre barrier, into the, wow, that's a interesting ricochet off the barrier there on the outside. But wow, another incident for him, and yeah, he has called after that. So wow, a lot of casualties in this one, Jay. It's been a very a lot of stuff going on in this last year.
It's been a crazy race. It just shows crazy bonkers. Just showing the fight that these guys have to try and make it into that final. There's a lot at stake in these finals. Everyone wants to make it into the main race. It's you want to be in these events to actually get into the main event. So it's what you do it for, to make the final. So unfortunately, hasn't worked out that way for Stenberg, Black, and McMillan, who are all out of the race at the moment.
And Brookfield has just done nearly the exact same thing as Stenberg did the lap before. He's drilled the barrier in pretty much the exact same way as Stenberg.
And he's stuck in the fence
identical
too.
Spin. Oh, yes, yeah.
He's stuck,
well, there we go.
He's trying to get reverse. He's struggling to get reverse. We've heard there's actually a bit of a glitch where some drivers can't get reverse. You have to flick it into first and then get back into reverse. So you're struggling to get it engaged in reverse. Got going again, and Larnack has just crossed the start-finish line to start the final lap of this LCQ.
Yeah, and thank goodness for Brookfield got going when he did, because as you can see, Larnack wasn't actually that far off catching him there. So thank goodness that Brookfield was able to get back going again in relative speed, because if not, that could have been a bit of a drama there if he was sitting in the middle of the track when Larnack came barreling into that corner. But thankfully got going and avoided incidents. But yeah, but a pretty commanding race from Larnack. Really just kept his nose clean, got the early start in doing the pace all race long, and showing why he's one of the guys who definitely bit back to be a key player in the final. He's going to come around the final corner now to take the win in this last chance qualifier and transfer to the final here tonight at Daytona Long. Wayne C. Burke, obviously not a perfect race for him, hit the tyre bundle through the double right-hander and cost himself some time, but still able to hold on to second, and now confirms his place also in the final, and confirms our 10-car field we now have locked in for the next race. Hayden Kirk is going to actually end up in P3 after all that, so he'll be probably pretty happy with that, really, after not looking like he quite had the pace to mix it with the guys towards the front of this field. He still gets a third thanks to just keeping his nose clean. It's good stuff from Hayden. And Richard Brookfield has been able to keep it going, and he's going to come around and get a finish in fourth. But probably a bit of a case of what could have been for him. He had the pace, I think, to at least be close to making it to the final. But unfortunately, incident with Stenberg just put paid to any hopes of making it to the final. So a big one there for him. But the other ones, the retirees from this one, Kurt Stenberg, Simon Black, and Thomas McMillan, your retirements from this last chance qualifiers. There you go. We now have our final field sorted for the next race. It'll be the last race of the night, and we'll also decide our winner and our podium for this round of racing. And tell you what, Jay, with the way these heats and that race there went, it should be absolutely fantastic, as every single final has been so far this series.
Yeah, it's been an awesome series so far, and it's going to be a very, very interesting main event when it comes time for that. And Tell you what, Hobson probably, he's going to hate us saying this, but money's almost on him at the moment. He's won both of his heats, so definitely in form is Hobbo. So we'll look to see what Hobson can do, but a very stacked field once again. Bob King, who obviously won last week. We've got Matt Hartley, bit of an unknown, but doing very, very well. Reese Gardner, Corey Ott, Glenn Postlethwaite, who was the fastest qualifier, Cam Taylor, Luca Jackerman, Brenton Hobson, Larnack and Burke will be the 10 cars in the main in just a couple of minutes' time.
Yeah, it should be absolutely fantastic. Very keen to see how this all plays out, and we'll know very soon. But we'll take one last break now to prepare ourselves for the final, and when we come back, it'll be the last race of tonight here at Daytona Long for CPR Rallycross. Hope you guys have been enjoying this show. We'll be back with you in just a moment.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
They say it's always darkest before the dawn, and in the world of motorsports, those words ring especially true. As is tradition, Daytona greets us as we emerge from our winter hibernation. But this year, we awaken 30 years in the past. This time we celebrate a bygone era as drivers take to the unrefined beasts that are the Audi Quattro and the Nissan GTP. A new season is about to dawn, the darkness about to fade. The 2018 Classic Daytona 2.4, an endurance race from the ages, for the ages, coming to you live, iRacing Live on February 4th, 2018.
Red Bull GRCs are now available on iRacing. I personally put my blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, developing the cars, the tracks, the dirt, making sure it is authentic as possible, and I really think you guys are going to love it. The best part is that this 600 horsepower Volkswagen Beetle is free to all members. So get signed up now and come race me online.
Welcome back to V8 Online for our coverage of the CPR Rallycross here at Daytona Long for this round of the championship, and we are now at the big one, the grand finale of the night, here with the final, and we've got 10 cars in this one, of course, as per usual, and it should be an absolutely fantastic final we've got lined up. We've had some great racing in the heats that have gone before this. The LCQ, of course, petered out a little bit there at the end with the way the race kind of panned out, but either way, the heats were great fun, and every final has turned it on, so I can't see why this won't be another cracking way to end the night, Jay.
Yeah, it's looking like it should be another great end to the evening, and the man who's potentially the favourite to win it, Brenton Hobson, on screen at the moment. He's won both of his heat races, but hasn't featured in the second round of heats. You saw him in the first heat where he blitzed away from, I think it was Scott Larnack from memory. My mind's pretty useless when it comes to these sort of things. But at the moment, we've got 3 drivers who have punched in lap times and 3 SSR drivers. It's Cam Taylor, Glenn Postlethwaite, Brenton Hobson. Also got Bob King and Wayne Burke from SSR in this. So 5 of the 10 cars, all from the one team. So good luck to the SSR guys. And I think they'll be disappointed if they don't come away with a result, considering they got half the cars in the field.
Yeah, and I mean, and we've seen, haven't they, this year, obviously, SSR hitting the dirt side of iRacing, both on oval and rallycross, pretty hard with their lineups, signed some of the big names in the dirt side of things, and really showing here in this series, obviously with Bob King winning last round, and a few of the others in their team having a really solid run last round in the final as well. So looking good this round, though, with half the field being SSR. I mean, they'll be aiming for at least someone to get the win and maybe have a double podium would be good as well. But we'll see how it goes. Obviously, the field, as we said, very stacked for this final, so it's always hard to pick how it will go. But right now, nearly done already with practice, and then we'll be through the qualifying. And this one, obviously, a 15-lap race, so 5 laps more than the heats, 15 laps around this Daytona Long circuit, but it is still only 2 jokers, so no extra joker as well, still just 2 jokers, which I'm sure we'll see very strategically played throughout this race. And if it goes as it usually does, the top guys probably will use theirs early on to try and use clear air, and then usually the guys further back tend to try and save theirs and use it a bit later on in the race. But should be a really, really interesting final. As you said, a bit of a pretty stacked field, as it always is in the finals here for CPR Rallycross. And keep an eye on our V8's online brethren as well, Corey Ott and Reese Gardner in the final. And Reese, for the first time in the series, making it to the final, which is great to see. And hopefully we'll see them having a great run here tonight.
Yeah, good to see both Corey and Reese both make the final tonight. So we'll see if they can come away with a result. We'll be cheering them on, but we'll be remaining unbiased at the same time. Glenn Postlethwaite will be the first driver to start a flying lap, so we'll keep an eye on him. He was the fastest qualifier for qualifying tonight, so Posy definitely has some pace in this car. He's definitely sorted out how to extract pace from this car. We'll see if he can potentially put this thing on pole, because all the times, everything that's happened before this race, everything's back to zero again. He's up on 3 wheels under brakes into the final corner. What time will he do? We're looking for a mid 41, 41.2. Good lap.
I guess he's probably going to, yeah, it looks like he'll go back to the garage, I'm sure, to start his runs again. But so, yeah, really good first run there from Posy. Puts himself for now at the top of the time sheets. Brendan Hobson is next with 41.3, only half a tenth effectively off. And it's a bit of a gap back to Wayne C. Burke and Corey Ott at the moment, who bring in the rest of the field. And you've got Bob King, has got a time in, but it's definitely not a time that you'd expect from him. I'm guessing he's probably had off in that lap, so he'll go again here and see if he can improve. But see how we go here. We do Posy, obviously, as you said, qualified the best in the qualifying runs before the heats. Didn't quite have as dominant a run in the heats themselves, but obviously we know how quick he is, as he's showing in these cars. He comes around now and to start his next lap. But yeah, very quick in these, and also obviously the V8s. We've seen him in V8 Sculpts doing some great stuff there too. So good to see the pace transition. It's Cam Taylor.
Oh, Cam Taylor.
Goes to the top, 41.253. So SSR 1-2-3. But so yeah, Jackman there is next. He splits Wayne Burke from the rest of his teammates at 41.6. But I would be surprised.
The top three. Have a look at the times for the top three. We've got less than a tenth separating the top three as Reece Gardner crosses the line and slots into 7th position. So Scott Larnack is the last driver to put in a lap time. We'll see what he can do. He is now on his flying lap.
Indeed.
If he can get into the 41s, I think he'll be happy. If he can do a low 41, looking pretty good.
I mean, well, we've seen already how consistent he is, isn't he? Just that consistency in this category of racing. And most things, to be fair, he's a very consistent driver.
Bob King to the top.
Oh, it's Bob King, yeah.
41-1.
Yeah, first of the 41-1s. There you go. I think Jackman, look at that as well, goes full second with a 41-2. So splits the SSR party at the top of the timesheets. He's the only car that's not an SSR in the top 6. So Jackman wrecking the party, but Larnack it's at a 41.9 as well. It's a bit slower than we've seen him as he tumbles over the jump, but yeah, it's not quite the pace we'd expect from him. He should have time to do another lap, and I think he's got the laps to do another one, so we should see him back out again to have another go. I would expect him to.
Yeah,
he did
so
last chance qualify. So
yeah, Larnack and Hartley are the last two. Hartley crosses the line for his second lap, so this will be his last chance. Does improve on that lap, but doesn't. Actually, no, he didn't get a registered time on that lap, so this is his last chance. So Matt Hartley, a real unknown in this race. Haven't seen too much of him prior to this one, so we'll see what he can do. Currently sits in 9th. If you looked at pole being a 41.1, did a 42.1, you'd think I'm pretty okay with that, about a second off, especially when you look at the list of names. When it puts you 9th, it's a little bit disheartening, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been like me with when I don't know. I think I did a run or two of our TV's Rallycross series, and it was the same sort of thing where I'd get into a fight, sneak into a final, put in the time, go, oh, that's not too bad, and then I'd be a good second off the top guys like Bob King and the like, and I'd be like, oh, okay, well maybe not. So it does certainly just get you a bit disheartened when you see the difference in pace between the really, really quick guys in the Rallycross and the guys a bit further down. But either way, looks like Larnack is out there now doing, I believe, his last run. The last one he'll have time for it either way as he comes into the hairpin for the final time. Using all the track on the outside there, keeping a pretty tight line, trying to get it straightened up as soon as he can to get on the power as quick as he can. As he heads to the line, is it an improvement? Oh, it is, a 41.3 from Larnack. A really nice time there, puts him right in the mix in P5. And I'll tell you what, look at that. Top 6 covered by effectively 2 tenths. So this could be interesting because obviously a lot of these guys are SSR as well. So a lot of them are teammates. But effectively, top 6, we have a SSR versus ERT battle. 2 are ERT, 3 SSR. Who's going to win? Let's find out in the next, well, effectively probably 10 minutes. We'll know who wins that battle, but this is going to be a really interesting race because that is a supremely close qualifying.
Starting grid is on screen, so the front row will be Bob King from position 1, Luca Jackman in 2nd, Cam Taylor in 3rd. Second row will be Glenn Postlethwaite, Scott Larnack and Brenton Hobson. Then Wayne Burke, Reece Gardner and Matt Hartley, all under a second. And then at the rear of the field is Corey Ott, 1.3 behind. 1.3, still pretty close, but this field is pretty hot tonight. So looking forward to this one. As we said, 15 laps ahead for these guys. Going to be a fairly long race. Now, we'll see what happens and how it all plays out as we get ready. Red's already rising, so we're getting ready to go.
Yeah, indeed. I think we're just waiting on, I think it's Larnack again. He's taking his time getting to the grid, trying to keep everyone waiting a bit. Maybe some mind games at work there. But yeah, it should be a really, really close final lap. Battle for the top half of the field is going to be super close. And even further down, you've got some really close times there towards the back end of the field as well that could be really juicy to watch. But they're all gridded up now. We're ready to go. The final race of the night. Final here for CPR Rallycross at Daytona Long. Who's it going to be on top as they get ready to take the start? Lights are out and we are away for the last race of tonight. Tonight at the start or the top of the field, very close. But look at that. Oh, Bob King chucking it right up the inside. Oh, contact at the back. Yes, Larnack. Larnack and Brendan Hobson have had contact. And actually, I wonder if Hobson, has he got steering damage? I don't think he does. He's okay. So they come through the chicane. Yeah, for the first time. And look at that, just sea of blue at the front. It's SSR. All the way to P43 at the moment. Top three are SSR, and then you've got Luca Jackaman is the odd one out there in the ERT yellow Beetle, but it's a Beetle 1, 2, 3, 4. So the Beetle really has taken a lot more favourites recently, hasn't it, Jay? Because it used to be always the Fiesta was the one to drive, and now the Beetle's making a bit of a comeback.
Yeah, it is, and I think it's track dependent on which car guys are going for. A lot of guys have said that the Fiesta feels faster out of the box, but once you can extract a setup, they're very, very evenly matched, so it comes a bit more down to personal preference. Larnack takes his Joker side by side with Cam Taylor, and just behind Wayne Burke, Luca Jackaman. They've come together, sliding around the corner, and they will have to slow down, let the field on by. Brenton Hobson is out of the race as well, so Hobbo won't finish 6th. He's going to finish in 10th, unfortunately.
Oh, wow, what a drama filled, and you can see there. Oh, it was just the
Jackaman again.
Yeah, Jackaman again, yeah. So it was the checking up, wasn't it? It was all sort of started from Larnack coming out of his Joker lap and causing some dramas there as the guys behind had to slow down, and obviously not quite on the same wavelength for a couple of them, and that sort of caused issues there. So big dramas. There's a tyre bundle gone flying as well down the back straight, so it's all kicking off.
It is on for the lead between Bob King and Glenn Postlethwaite.
Teammates. Yeah, teammates going at it. And keep in mind that Larnack's not far back, so they can't battle too hard, because otherwise ERT might get in this mix.
Yep.
So, and Cam Taylor's there too.
Larnack's taken both Jokers. Cam Taylor has taken no Jokers, but Bob King, Glenn Postlethwaite, both have taken one. I wouldn't be surprised if Posy takes the Joker this lap, tries to get ahead, and then get some clear air to push on. He'll do the opposite of what King does on this time.
Yeah, for sure.
And there we go, right on cue.
Yeah, yep. Good spot, yeah. So now he'll jump King in the Joker, and as you say, that'll be the key now, is he'll try and pump out those clean laps and try and jump him effectively through the Joker. Certainly here at Daytona, it's something you can do very effectively if you can time your Joker right.
Oh, Larnack!
Pace or no? Oh, yeah, over the jump.
Larnack hit the tyre bundle.
Well. Oh, Corey Ott's coming over as well, just as they're redressing. And they're still going at it. Look, there's Cam Taylor and Larnack going at it big time here, trading paint as they go to the double right-hander. Larnack, nearly in the barrier. And this is really tossed it up now, because look, this now means Corey Ott, Reece Gardner, and Matt Hartley. Larnack's going to pull it over, and I think he's out. It looks like his race is done once again.
Yeah, I think he's got a bit too much damage there from that hit. We'll get a CPR replay, because he actually hit the tyre bundle at the first part of the chicane, and what that did, it propelled the car sideways, and then there was fairly heavy contact between he and Taylor. Taylor had nowhere to go. He was an absolute passenger there, and after that, when they come back out, I think Larnack realised that he might have a little bit too much damage to push on too hard. We'll get another look. We'll go one more quick look on board here with Cam Taylor. You can see the contact and hard on the brakes, nowhere to go. Big contact into the ERT Beetle. We'll come back live. Larnack is out, Hobson is out. We're down to 8. The lead is still on though.
Yeah, and
Bob King's done his second as well.
Oh, there you go.
So Postlethwaite now is truly the race leader. 10 laps to go. It's a fairly long way left in this race. This is the length of a normal final. Bob King, a fair bit of damage to the front of his car, and Posy now has about a second.
Yeah, indeed. So it's a really juicy battle at the front. Obviously, they are teammates, but just for a win. So I suspect it'll be, as long as they don't wipe each other out, then they can go for it hammer and tong. And that's probably what they'll do here, as Posy tries to hold on from Bob King. We've already seen, we know how quick he is. Anything dirt related, he is really, really quick in. And showing it again here tonight, P3 is Cam Taylor, still looking on to get a third despite having that incident there at the jump. Then behind him is actually Corey Ott now in P4s, just ahead of Reece Gardner. And then Matt Hartley in P6, Wayne Burke in P7. He's closely followed by a recovering Jackaman, who's in P8 for now. He's not actually that far behind even the top 4, so I wouldn't be surprised if he maybe gets a bit further up as he goes up the inside of Burke into the hairpin. That's another position gain for him up to P7. And yeah, he's not that far off. And as we said, it is a pretty lengthy race in these finals. And you know, if you get guys like Corey Ott there hitting tyre bundles through the double right-hander, that's going to only help Jackaman maybe get back to a top 4 here.
Your Cam Taylor, Hartley, Burke still yet to take jokers. One joker left for Luca Jackaman. So Jackaman will probably be wanting to clear a bit of ground here on Wayne Burke while he's got fresh air ahead, because Burke will close that gap that is there now back to 0. Probably will overtake Jackaman with the current pace at the moment. We'll see. No, neither of them take the joker this time. I'll tell you, another battle is heating up is between Corey Ott and Reece Gardner. Both these guys are both taking their jokers, both sideways over the jump, both well and truly out of control. We'll see if Ott can hold on from charging Reece Gardner.
Yeah, for sure. As Reece trying to get that top 4 result here in the final. Keeping in mind, Hartley's not far behind him, and his pace has been really solid tonight as well, and he's doing some really nice, consistent times. So watch for him to maybe play.
And hasn't done a joker yet either.
Yeah, there you go. So that's effectively going to probably put him pretty much line ball with Gardner at the moment he does
I reckon right in between the two of Ott and Gardner, the way he's gone at the moment.
Yeah, and his pace is just that bit quicker as well.
Yeah, Hartley's doing a tiny little bit quicker lap time, so maybe about a 10th or so a lap. In saying that, that lap around, Ott and Gardner, Gardner actually pulled their finger out a little bit.
Yeah.
Stop fighting too hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in saying that, Postlethwaite, fastest car on track. Next fastest car after that is Cam Taylor. Bob King must have a fair bit of damage. I mean, visibly looking a little bit sick at the front, but other than visually, he must have a little bit of steering damage because he's a full second off the pace of the rest of the field right now.
Yeah, although he did just do a 41.6 there, so it might have just been a mistake on that lap. It's can ebb and flow like that, but yeah, there probably still might be a little bit of damage there because it's a pretty sad-looking Volkswagen on the front end there. Same for Cam Taylor as well behind him. He's closing ever so slowly on Bob King, so he might have something to say about that P2. But I think the battle to watch is that battle for P4 at the moment because they're all closing up. Hartley was actually the quickest of the lot there, 42.2 that lap, really pulling out the pace now that we're getting in towards the latter half of this race. And it's closing up quite nicely. And then Jackaman, as you can see, is there too. So we've got a 4-car battle shaping up potentially here for P4. It may not be for the win, may not be for a podium, but it is still really, really important points in this championship. So they'll be fighting no hold bars, that's for sure, when they do get to these last couple of laps. It's Corey Ott at the moment leading it, but the guys behind are getting ever closer.
Yeah, and Hartley takes his first joker and comes out right beside Gardner. Oh, Gardner had to check up there. Didn't really want to, but I don't think he had a choice. So Hartley now with his first joker. What that's done as well, it's meant that Ott's broken a little bit of a gap. So Hartley's going to have to work hard, work with Gardner here to close that gap back up to Ott.
Sure, yeah, that was a really close moment there between the two. But again, as we mentioned, the way that joker works, it's like that. It really is a bit of an awkward rejoin. You rejoin right at the apex of a really, really tight chicane, one-line chicane at that as well. So it can cause some dramas, and we nearly saw it there. Credit to both of them, those who managed to get through there without any major incidents. So good stuff from both Hartley and Gardner. Good awareness, but Gardner, we've got some more worries behind now as he's got Luca Jackaman, who's coming at him now, attacking him full position. Is all really twisting it over the jump there as Gardner. With the tyre bundle, yeah, Hartley hitting the tyre bundle and nearly sending it into their path, but not quite. So they are really pushing the limit of the track here. As Gardner doing just enough to hold for now, but we know how quick Jackaman is in these cars, and he's certainly going to be doing everything he can to gain that position. And look at them, they're almost closing back up to Hartley, aren't they? Corey Ott's just keeping the gap, and so Hartley's last lap was a bit of a slow one, so he's a bit vulnerable here for the battle for P5.
Cam Taylor's just taken his first joker as into the joker for the last time. Here's Luca Jackaman. He's going to jump both Hartley and Gardner and come out right behind Corey Ott. So Hartley's still got one joker to go in that group. But Cam Taylor's the one to watch for me right now. He's now down to 3 seconds between he and Bob King ahead. He's got one joker left to play, 2.5 laps to go. Cam Taylor, the pace he's got at the moment, he could close that gap up and be fighting to take second place away from Bob King.
Sure, yeah, and that'd be a very juicy battle at the moment. Looks like Posy is doing enough. He's just slowly eking out that gap on Bob King. Been doing that pretty much all race long, but as you say, Cam Taylor's pace really strong at the moment, and looking like he may have a shout potentially at that P2, though Bob King was slightly faster last time by, but still looking like a really juicy battle at the moment as we see the battle between Hartley and Jackman.
Yeah. Hartley, big mistake for Hartley.
Oh, round he goes, and that was just on his own, just over the jump. And
too hot over the jump.
Yeah.
Landed a little bit unsettled, and that's absolutely thrown him around. As we go back to Bob King, Cam Taylor, it's now down to 1.7 seconds. We can get it down to about a second as they're now on the final lap. He's got that Joker still to come. He could pass him right at the finish line here. This is going to be really tight between these two.
Yeah, and again, the teammates going at it, but it's no team orders here at the moment. It is for P2, very, very important points, so they won't be too worried about being teammates as they come through the hairpin. Oh, Bob King really using the handbrake there as he sweeps it around the hairpin. But I'll tell you what, Cam got a really nice run, and he is well close enough to have a shout there. Glenn Postlethwaite comes around the final corner, though. He's going to win the final here at Daytona Long for CPR Rallycross. There goes Cam Taylor taking his Joker. Is he going to beat him out? I'd say he will, and he does
it easy.
beat him. There you go. Yeah, great stuff from Cam. Good recovery after the incident earlier on in the race. The jump comes home P2. Really strong performance from him. And in the end, Bob King is going to have to settle for third. He's still a podium, though. Didn't quite have the pace of his teammates in that final, but still, a podium is a podium. It is still great points, and that rounds out a SSR 1, 2, 3. So they're very, very strong showing here tonight for those guys. Corey Ott, tell you what, probably one of the drives of the race. 10th to 4th for him. Kept his nose clean all race long, and gets rewarded with a very, very solid P4. So great result there for Corey Ott. For his race, Luca Jackaman ends up coming home P5 after having that incident earlier on in the race, having that accident that cost him so much time. Still managed to come back through and get some solid points either way. Reece Gardner, solid points from him too, to come from 8th to 6th. He'll be happy with that one, I'm sure. And then Wayne C. Burke in P7, really difficult night for him. We know he has a really solid pace in these cars, but just not able to show it throughout the night. Matt Hartley was looking on point to possibly be in the top 5 there until had that instance over the jump and went a bit too far and spun it, so ends up P8. And then your retirements from this one, Scott Larnack, who had a really difficult night, made it to the final in all fairness, but other than that, it was a really, really difficult night for Scott, and he'll probably be wanting redemption next week. And then rounding out your field, unfortunately retiring on the first lap, Brendan Hobson, who'll probably be ruining what could have been, but I guess for him, at least his team still got a 1, 2, 3, so it's not quite as bad as it could have been.
Yeah, good solid night for Synergy Sim Racing, so well done to those guys. We'll see if anyone is going to jump over for an interview, but while we wait and see, we'll quickly talk about what we have got on over the next 2 weeks, because it is absolutely stacked, our schedule in the next 2 weeks. Got Saturday night drinks for the final round of the Blancpain Endurance Series, and I'm going to miss Saturday night drinks. We'll have to try and work out what we can do to replace Saturday night drinks. Bez, we'll think of something.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Obviously, Saturday night we'll start coverage at just after 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time, and then we'll have a little sleep after it. Get up nice and early, ready for our coverage of the Daytona 24-hour. Our leg will start from 8:30 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time, but the race will start from 12:30 Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. That's just after midnight, Saturday night, Sunday morning. The friends at Race Spot will have the first 8 and final 8 hours covered, and we'll have the middle 8 here on V8s Online. So make sure you tune in throughout the weekend for heaps of action-packed racing. Monday night we've got the iRacing official V8 Supercars. Tuesday we raised some funny for funny. We raised some funny. We raised some money.
I'm sure we'll have plenty of
money and funds at the same time. We raised some funds for Tristo in their Tristo's Midget Shootout. Then, as we said, we got Cut Price Racing Rallycross next Thursday night. Next Sunday, OEC is back. We head back to the Nürburgring and then the V8 Supercar Official Series. And then OSC starts the end of this month, 31st of Feb. And it looks like we have got a few drivers in for a chat. So we will grab our race winner, Glenn Postlethwaite. Well done, Posy. Congratulations on the win.
G'day guys, how are you? Thanks for that.
Yeah, no worries at all. Good to have you in here, Posy. I mean, obviously, we're watching that throughout the night with some great racing, despite the sort of smaller field that we had for tonight's racing. But how was it for you coming through the heats and then to the final?
Yeah, it was a bit of a small field, but yeah, it was really awesome racing all night. I think I got a pole in the quali, and then first heat win. I had a big moment, and I did a full 360 in the lead, and only just managed to hang on to it. And then sorry.
I was just say go do it in style, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, I picked the right time to make mistakes.
For sure, yeah. And I mean, that final was you kind of had a really just nice clean run there at the front. You know, got the start and were able to sort of just control the race. But I guess it's probably good for you guys as a team, sort of seeing the 1, 2, 3. I mean, a really strong performance from SSR for this whole night.
Yeah, it's been really awesome. Like all the SSR guys, we've had really good pace in the Rallycross at the moment. So it's pretty awesome to have so many guys right up there.
Yeah, for sure. And, looking forward to, the next rounds coming up. You're thinking you can continue this streak. I mean, SSR actually, just thinking about it now, I know they sort of used the brain for a couple of seconds. Obviously, last week was the win for Bob, and now you've won this week. So, and I know you guys are hitting the dirt stuff pretty heavily at the moment for this year. So, I mean, is it looking at just keeping the streak going for the next round?
Yeah, well, hopefully we can keep going. I only come in the last couple of rounds, and I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, we've got so many guys at the moment. It's just like it could be any one of us right up there, and obviously there's all the other fast guys as well. But it's cool to have so many fast guys in the team, and we're all sort of pushing each other, so we're all sort of advancing. And yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, indeed. And obviously Iowa's the next round as well. I mean, is it a track you enjoy?
I haven't done a whole lot of laps around there, so I might have to do a few practice laps, I reckon, and get back to you.
Yeah, fair enough. But thank you for coming in, Posy, and again, well done on your win, and awesome driving from you and all the crew at SSR tonight.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, no worries
Cheers,
at all.
guys. Take it easy.
Yeah, no worries, you too, Posy. So that was Glenn Postlethwaite coming in for a chat, winning tonight's round of CPR Rallycross. Next up, we have, I guess we should just go by the podium. We should go in order, shouldn't we? That'd be the most logical way to do it. So next up, we have Mr. Cam Taylor in the booth. Cam, good result for you as well. P2 in the final. Didn't quite have enough pace to catch up to Posy, but still great points for you in the championship. How was it for you for the whole night of racing?
Yeah, it was a pretty tricky night racing. Sort of got caught up in a lot of sort of incidents and crashes and that, so pretty lucky to get up to second, I think, for the feature. Yeah,
for sure. And, the Daytona long, it kind of invites that though, doesn't it? With the way the walls are so close on pretty much most of the circuit, there's not a lot of room to move. It sort of invites that, some incidents to occur, and especially with tyre bundles too.
Yeah, biggest problem I have is these random flying tyre bundles, so they always make for a good time racing, but yeah, still happy to get up there on the podium, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And, we've been noticing as well and we were discussing it in the final a bit with the way the cars are, the Beetle and the Fiesta, obviously when it all came out initially, and obviously I remember seeing you driving the Fiesta a fair bit when it first came out, but did the Beetle tonight. Is there sort of a shift now? This is the way the Beetle is. Is there sort of a bit of setup work's been figured out to make it as quick as the Fiesta now?
I think it's probably, they do react different. I wouldn't say one's faster than the other. I think probably people suit one more than the other. For me at the moment, the VW probably suits my driving style, I guess. So yeah, that's why I've been going the VW a fair bit.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. And looking forward to next week. Probably looking to continue the streak, I'm sure, for the team. But Iowa is a track you enjoy and think you'll be on for another good result at?
Always looking for a good result. Yeah, I do like Iowa, but yeah, just really trying to bank those points. Didn't have a good round before, so this one's a good finish. So really trying to sort of keep the Synergy Sim Racing team up on the podium and accumulate bulk points for the championship.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess it's a long way off, to be fair. We're good, 6 weeks from it coming. But I mean, what are you got any thoughts on the Subaru coming up and the new track coming up as well for iRacing? Obviously, the end of the season that are going to be added. Do you think they might be looking at shifting to that when it comes out, or you're pretty happy with the VW?
Yeah, not too sure. Obviously, the looks will be a good thing because you always want to look good. Keen for the new track because, you know, any new layout's pretty good. But, yeah, don't know about the speed of the Subaru that's coming, but, yeah, we'll give it a whirl and see which one's better.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Well, again, thank you for coming in, Cam, and again, well done on your second spot tonight.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries at all. And next up, we have a few interviews lined up. But next up, we'll round out our podium for the final. Mr. Bob King in the booth with us. Again, well done on your result as well, Bob, rounding out the SSR podium domination. Obviously not a win like last round, so not quite the same sort of effect to it, but still a good result. I mean, how was the night for you?
Yeah, it wasn't a bad night. Great for points. So awesome to have the SSR team up. Obviously, grab another 1, 2, 3. Sort of didn't really feel it today. Wasn't feeling the best, and it was sort of a last-minute decision to actually race, and actually had some pretty good speed. So I was happy to stick with it and at least get through the race.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, with the Daytona layouts, I mean, is your preference with the long layout or the short here?
I don't really have a preference over each of them. I think the long layout's a little bit easier to pass, a couple more opportunities to get back under the other car, but I think they're about the same. The track seems to feel a little bit different after the update. I think they've moved the wall over a little bit. But, other than that, it's not a great deal of difference.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, you're using the Beetle tonight as you were last week. Obviously, I'm guessing that's been your sort of preference for a while now over the two cars.
Yeah, it's not so much the preference over the car. It's more just a bit of a synchronization between the teams so we can get a setup working more than anything.
Fair call, yeah. And I mean, and we had a lesser field obviously tonight as well. Obviously, I think it was about 22 people sign up tonight, so a few less. We still got a great night of racing. I mean, is that? Do you think that's? I mean, we saw it as a good thing because we thought less people. You have the real, you know, the guys who really know what they're doing with Rallycross showing up tonight. I mean, does that sort of reflect you in the racing here?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, the guys that are obviously racing now come in a little bit more prepared, have their setups dialed, and have a little bit more racecraft. So I think all in all, it ends up putting on a better show for everyone.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, finishing off again with Iowa, a track that you're keen to do and maybe continue these sort of runner podiums and wins.
I love the track. I'm not all that fast at it, but we'll have to see what we can do during the week and see if we can get another SSR 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, fair enough there. Well, thank you for coming in, Bob, and all you guys from SSR. And again, congrats on the 1, 2, 3. A really, really strong performance, you guys.
Okay, thanks, guys. Thanks for broadcasting.
Yeah, no worries at all. We had a blast as usual. I'm sure Jay can attest too. So I think we're going to keep going down the order because I want to keep this nice and in the order. So if Corey is there and ready to go, there we go. Good stuff. So Corey, hello. And despite a really helpful pep talk beforehand, obviously, me and Jay, as Jay can know, we really were very positive to you before the race, of course.
Despite
that,
I think flip and you don't have a chance of winning.
I think I did clearly say that you do not have a chance of winning because you actually said, "quote," I quote you, "I feel like I'm going to win this tonight." My reply to that was, "You have no hope of winning that tonight," and I think I was sort of right.
I think right in fact, but the thing was that then if the next sentence I said was, "Oh, I think you're right, Jay. I could have won this race," but if we want to talk about the race, Jay, and Hinsey, it went well. Like starting dead last, starting on the last row, you sort of get that, you know, safety buffer where if there's a wreck in front, you can just dive it to the next gap you see that's safe and go for it, and that's what happened. I thought there was going to be 5-car pile up on the outside of turn 1 in there, and it didn't happen. So I just kept plotting along, and I think during the race there, I was sort of starting to get up myself, like, oh, I'm going to come fourth, I might get a podium here, and I was starting to make a couple of little mistakes here and there, but kept plowing along. And I think towards the end there, I thought that Hartley was behind me, and he was behind me for the past 6 laps, and I was going all right. If I just keep going like this, I'll be okay. And then I think the last, with 2 to go, I look at my relative. I was like, "Oh, Lucas, yeah, Jackaman's behind me." So I went a little bit faster, and well, it worked out at the end, didn't it? So best finish for me this series. So, you know, 1 position off the top 3, but I don't really care. I just finished the race, no damage done. So it was pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I've asked everyone about it, but I mean, is Daytona? I mean, it's the one that's done the most running. Obviously, with the way it all worked out, with week for 13, Daytona was the first track, so logically, it'd be the one that's probably been done to death already in the Rallycross as it is. But is it one of the ones you enjoy more, Corey?
Oh well, when I found out, I think it was about an hour before the event started. I found out it was Daytona Long. I was a bit, this again. But no, I just had a baseline setup that I would use at Iowa, and just change the gear ratio, drop down the tire pressures, seeing as though the practice and qualifying session we had before the whole event kicked off, I think was 40 in the 40s for track temp. So it was a bit hard to get accustomed to the hot temps, but yeah, after that it was smooth sailing. Just barely making it to the finale from that last session with a 3/4 of a Fiesta. It was not too bad.
And I mean, and looking at those past races, now that you mention, I mean, we saw a bit of an interesting moment between you and Mr. Reese Gardner. Some V8s online coming together. I mean, there's going to be a bit of rivalry there, maybe in future.
Well, if he didn't go as deep, if he doesn't go too deep into that corner, I think I'll avoid him. But yeah, that was one of those. I tried to miss him, but I tried all my hardest, and yeah, the car that said no, I'll just spear straight to an invisible tire barrier and race. So it was really really unfortunate, but yeah, got me to the finale in the end, didn't it?
True. But yeah, again, well done on the finale result. Last default's an awesome race in all seriousness. And I mean, Iowa next, and I don't know because I know you do jump in the comp sometimes as well. But I mean, if you do it, would it be one you reckon you'd maybe do a rider?
Well, I got to look at when I'm working because I usually work Thursdays. But if it like Iowa's I quite like the track a lot. I do sort of okay at it, but it's one of those tracks where it looks weird. It's very weird, like the layout, the way it is, but I like it a lot. It's a weird track I love, but if I'm not working that night, I might jump in the comms box or even jump in the car and see if I can get another finale under my boot.
Awesome. Sounds good. So again, thanks for jumping in, Corey. Well done on your result, and obviously probably see you here on VS Online soon. So see you next time.
Yep, see you, man.
Thank you. And finally, rounding off our interviews, very fittingly, so I must add, Mr. Reese Gardner. Reese, well done. So straight away say. Made to the final, which obviously first time in the series. But I mean, how was that night of racing for you? Because it certainly, looked like there was some incidents going on around the field.
Oh yeah. There was certainly some dramatic incidents going on, everywhere basically, and I was the cause of one of them. In my first heat, I'll put up my hand and say sorry to Wayne Burke for hitting him in the back coming into turn one. That was all me. But I ended up finishing third in both of those heats and ended up getting into the final at the end of it, which is a first for me in this series. Usually, it's just been a combination of bad luck and my own mistakes that have kept me out of the final stages of these events. I think last time I got this far was Iowa, where I almost made it into the final. I think I just missed out by one round. But yeah, the final itself was it was hard work, really hard work. But I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. And, obviously we set our chockers the field. I mean, even the last chance qualifiers, the field was pretty stacked in nearly every single one. But, I mean, we were saying before about the standard of racing as well. It looked like, apart from, there were still a few instances, but you're always going to get that in Rallycross because of Rallycross. But with a smaller field, I mean, do you think maybe that quality of field did sort of rise a bit?
Yeah, I think so. In terms of like the level of driver that we saw, it was definitely a much stronger field. I think it was a bit easier for me to get through to the final stages despite the high level of competition, because there simply weren't as many people there, and there's less people vying for those same spots. But yeah, I mean, obviously it didn't stop a few of them from getting into each other during the race, but that's as you say, that's Rallycross, and that happens sometimes. I'm just happy that I managed to avoid it for the most part.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, next round is Iowa, continuing the streak with CPR. I mean, it's a track you reckon you might have another shout. I think, as you said, it was the one you got close to getting into the final last time. So do you reckon you might be able to make that step into the final this time around?
Oh, who knows? I certainly hope so. I love Iowa. It's actually my favorite rallycross layout on iRacing. Daytona, both Daytona layouts are all right. Phoenix is fun, but Iowa is my favorite far and away. Haven't actually done a round of this series at Lucas Oil though, so we'll have to wait and see what comes of that if that ends up being on the schedule. But yeah, Iowa, fantastic. I love the fact that the Joker cuts out like literally half the lap. It's excellent.
It is great. That's my favorite part too. It's such a massive advantage. It's a bit ridiculous. And then we're left standing there going, "What's even happening? We don't know," because the Joker literally cuts out like 20 seconds of a lap. It's a bit stupid, but anyway, it's a great fun of Iowa. But yeah, thanks for coming in, Reese. But obviously, I'm sure we'll see if or BES Saturday Night Drinks should be a lot of fun to round off the season. And the Daytona 24 coming up as well. As I was saying to Jay during the breaks, I have to see when I'm driving myself, and as I'm sure same for you too, Reese, with the 24, for when what we're doing there. But
all you boys racing, and everyone knows that I'm not racing. Everyone knows that there's no hope for Jay racing. You got to plug in a wheel for that to happen. So I might do it one day.
Yeah. BS if I can, assuming I'm not starting the car, but if I can, I'll definitely be trying to make that. And obviously last round of the pro qualifiers, that'll be, we saw it Spa, didn't we, Reece? That was a just crazy bonkers race to the end. And I'm sure being the last round of the pro qualifiers, it's going to be the same again on Saturday night.
Oh yeah, for certain. The BES always turns it on, and I'm looking forward to it as usual.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. So we'll see you then, Reece. And again, awesome job on tonight, and see you next time.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys, for the broadcast, and catch you guys next week.
No worries at all. Thank you. So yeah, there you go. That rounds out our interviews for tonight. I did see Bio accidentally joined into the comms booth. I was totally going to ambush him anyway and just interview him for no reason, just because. But unfortunately left before I could do that. Dang you, Bo. No, that was a really, really fun night of racing. Jay had some good laughs throughout and some great racing incidents as well. The usual, everything you usually expect and come to watch Rallycross, Paul.
Yeah, it was a good fun night of racing, and we probably saw the fastest guy, the guy that was the fastest in the practice and the warm-up and qualifying. The fastest guy ended up winning, so it probably showed the pace that Posy had, especially when he was able to get that fast time in qualifying, and that was enough to take the win in the race tonight. But as you said, we've got a big weekend ahead, and Bez Saturday night, Daytona Sunday night, and then Monday night V8s. Tuesday night we've got some dirt action, and then next Thursday we'll be back at Iowa, and then we've got, what else have we got? We got OSC starting in 2 weeks' time, and both of those will be returning, which I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, which I'll end up driving in too, OSC. I wasn't planning to, because,
good boy.
Always. Yeah, well, the team were they said, well, OSC is broadcast, so maybe you should do that because, broadcast. I was like, all right, I'll drive GT3, jeez. So I ended up driving that one, but that should be, as we saw with Season 1 of OSC, that was awesome, really close racing, and a championship fought all the way to the last round. So, and I'm sure with the fixed cars and with obviously tweaking the rules and just generally what I suspect will be an even better quality field once again, it should be a really cracking season. And if I can even get close towards the top in that, I'll be pretty chuffed, because I know there'll be a lot of guys in that who do a lot more GT3 than I do. So
it should be a good field for that. And Ross Rizzo, of course, having the number one, he's going to carry the number one on the car. So congratulations to him for the last one. But I think we might have to wrap it up, because
I think so.
It's been a very, very good fun night of broadcasting.
Yeah, for sure. Again, thanks to everyone who came along and watched as usual. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, and I'm sure you could tell how much we loved it. We had a great time, as we usually do, with Rallycross and pretty much any broadcast we do. Definitely join us this weekend. As we mentioned, it is going to be a really, really big weekend for us, and then all the way through to Tuesday. So really a 5-day block there. It's just non-stop action here on V8s Online with broadcasts every day. So be sure to tune in if you can, and enjoy the show. I've been Thomas Hins leading through tonight. Jay Kennedy alongside me on comms and doing the magic with the cameras and everything as usual, doing his usual magic stuff. Thanks again, Jay. And hopefully we'll see you guys on Saturday night for BES drinks. So again, thanks for coming along for CPR Rallycross here at Daytona Long. Glenn Postlethwaite, your winner tonight. Hope you enjoyed the show, and until next time, it's bye for now.